Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Biddle. Thank you guys so much for joining us here across our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It is Tuesday night, so that means we are live. We've got a brand new episode coming for you tonight. We've had a lot going on. Earl wasn't here last week. Jacob and I have been busy. We've got just a whole bunch going on. We've got a match to talk about. Well, two really to talk about. Hey, Harry, how are you, my friend?
3 different guesses this week. No, I will go 2-1. That is, okay. I think that's what it's going to be.
Boom.
You sure about that? Because I'm fairly certain that you changed it.
Nope, that was after I changed it. Because you said I had 3 different guesses, and I said, no, I'm going with 2-1.
Okay. All right. So you get one right finally. I've got 2 right on the season. Jacob is trying to form the mullet.
It's not a mullet. Yet.
Wrong sports shirt. I mean, I could go get my Atlanta United kit. But you know,
he doesn't have any New Mexico United gear. He is not technically a fan. He's a professional journalist when it comes to United, supposedly.
Speaking of being professional, like okay, so we're just jumping right into it. I did have a burning question, but I'm gonna say screw the burning question tonight. FEP. Yes. So we are, of course, live across our social media platforms. You guys did not make it out to the match on Saturday night. Obviously, the match was away down in El Paso. I did go down. I was able to get credentials. So shout out to Derek Fox from El Paso for getting me credentials. I was able to get in.
I like how you're shouting him out right now, and then you're about to rip El Paso.
I am. I'm going to rip El Paso and their communications department a new one because I'm extremely disappointed in what was provided in terms of, food. There was no food at all for the media. Yeah, it was just, some guy came walking in with a hot dog from somewhere.
Hold on. Before you go on. So to any El Paso Locomotives, front office,
Seth's views do not
pertain to Somos Mas. This is strictly Seth's personal views and not the professional view that we just went off of. But now the housekeeping is out of the way. Carry on.
Yeah, there you go. Disclaimer. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I do appreciate getting the credential and being able to be there. And I just threw up a bonus episode over here. With the post-match press conference that we had with head coach Zach Prince. It was myself, Ken Sickinger from the Journal, and David Carr. We were down in the tunnels underneath the stadium talking to Zach afterwards. And so, but yeah, no, there was no food. We know, that New Mexico United provides food to all the media. Even if you go down to the dugout, there's usually like pizza or something down there. And they rotate the food in.
Trust me, me and Earl know about the pizza.
You guys know. But even when visiting,
it's usually around halftime that we get that pizza.
Yeah. But
I don't think it's technically for us, but
it's the food is provided. Even for traveling media, they're able to come in, get some food, whatever. So there was nothing provided. They did, gave us some water, which is great. Appreciate the water. I showed up early, got my media credential, and there was another guy standing outside the box office, and he had 2 different passes. One said photo, one said media. He's like, I don't know why they gave me 2. I said, well, I don't know. I said, I've got my media one. I didn't think anything of it. Well, I go down to the field. I go to step out. And oh, yeah, if you want to take photo, because if you look at the paperwork they give you, it says media pertains to photo, written, blogs, podcasts, whatever. That's what says. That's their definition of media. I said, hey, can I grab a penny so I can take some pictures? Like, no, you don't have a photo pass. I'm sorry.
This is such a big soapbox that I'm just very entertained.
But no,
believe it or not, I did talk to El Paso, and I got some.
Earl coming in with some professionalism. Oh, except for he's muted.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I did talk to El Paso, and I did get the live audio of you talking to the field crew.
Oh, I thought he
Okay.
was being professional, and no,
It was exactly.
didn't sound
It
right.
was this.
Please don't cry like
Oh,
Okay.
two things. One, Earl, that was great. Great setup, great execution. Second thing, we just watched that movie this weekend, and so it just made it even funnier.
So, but no, let me, and I sent you guys the pictures of my perspective from the field. Absolutely, the field did look terrible. Even from where I was at, because I was down in the dugout for the first half, and most of the second half too. Like it looked terrible. But let me show you guys the pictures. So I don't have it on, but if you can see it here. So like this, like I'm in the dugout, and there's like 9 or 10 El Paso media guys just standing like in front of the dugout, taking up every possible angle that you could possibly get at to take a picture of anything. And so that's what my gripe is. Like, if you're going to give someone a media credential, why shouldn't they be allowed to take photos as well?
So just so you know, year one, United had the same thing. They had 2 different media passes. One was for the field, and one was for
Yeah, I know they used
press
to.
box.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think year 2 was going to be the same, but then year 2 turned into COVID-19, and
So
we
just
didn't have any
so
home
Seth
matches.
knows, the entire time I was listening to that, all I heard was this.
Thanks, Earl. Appreciate that. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like if you're gonna give out a media credential, like it should be like, I'm not saying all access. I shouldn't be able to access all areas, but I should be able, at least be able to go out on the warning track and take some photos.
Also, you're coming from Big Brother here, Big Brother organization that knows how to operate, and going down to Little Brother there in El Paso. So
Yeah.
I think you should have expected. I think your expectations were here, and they needed to be here.
Yeah.
And then you still probably wouldn't have met those expectations, but it would have been closer to what you were expecting than what you were.
So opening night,
probably.
me and Jacob did have a chance to talk to a New Mexico United official.
I don't
you
know
know
where
who
you're
I'm
going.
talking
I don't know. I know who you're talking about. I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and we were told to lower our expectations.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. 'Cause
So
we
I know
both-
you weren't there, Seth, but from the great words of Itamar, lower your expectations.
Exactly. Mhm.
Okay. I don't know what the expectations we're lowering are for, but okay.
Well, ours were because we picked 4-0 and 5-0 against Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And he said to lower our expectations. Yours were apparently wanting food in El Paso, which food in El Paso I don't think is a good idea anyways, but hey.
No, I think he was
You
just
do
wanting
you,
like
boo-boo.
valid press credentials. But
Yeah,
they
like
just,
I just think full media access. Like I said, I don't expect like all access areas. I don't expect to go into the locker rooms. I don't expect that kind of stuff. But like if I'm showing up and when I do the credential request, like if I put down I'm a blog writer, I'm a podcaster, whatever, I shouldn't have to also put in a separate request to say, hey, I want to be able to take photos as well. But that's just, I don't know. But I will admit it's a nice stadium. It was a nice trip down. I enjoyed it. I ate at a place just outside the stadium called Drax Cheesesteaks. It's actually not too bad. David Carl would disagree because he, of course, is from Philly. So, but yeah, getting back to Harry's point over here, the field looked bad. Like I'm telling you, it was so bad to watch. Like in person, I know you guys watched it.
I thought you couldn't see it because of all the people in your way. But
Well,
okay, I'll take your
I
word.
could see in between people, and then I rewatched the match, of course, and like you could see guys just cutting in that turf where it was at, and it looked terrible. Like it really did.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Phil from the Seriously Loco podcast complained quite a bit about the second half and the start-stop nature of it.
Mhm.
Am I just being a giant homer for not remembering such a start-stop nature, or am I just used to it because every team does that against us?
No, it absolutely was. There was a lot
Okay.
of stop start now, but it didn't go one way or the other. It was very much both teams. Like
Yeah,
it was.
it felt like every stoppage was warranted. Like El Paso was fouling us pretty hard.
They were, and Ken Sickinger and I were talking about this while we were down there watching the game. And
Shout out to Ken, by the way. I love Ken.
yeah, Ken's fantastic. Like he really is. It's always a great conversation and always does a great job covering the club for the Journal. But yeah, we were talking about it, and it was just like, and I'll admit that there were a lot of fouls that were called. There were a lot of fouls that were called that were very soft, going both ways, and
But that was like the whole match. I mean, it wasn't just the second half.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't just when we went up 2-1. It was also when they were ahead 1-0.
Yeah,
and it was also when we were tied 1-1.
Yeah, it was very, very soft fouls, very ticky tack calls, and yeah. So I agree it was stop start, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was swayed one way or the other.
By the way, people, if you couldn't tell by the name of this title and the sound clip that I played earlier, we did win 2-1. Just we jumped right into Seth's soapbox, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that we did win, because otherwise you would have thought we started off negatively with the soapbox and we were grumpy old people about not winning. But no, we did win.
So I did get a recording for myself after we did beat El Paso.
God. Damn it, Earl. The first one was good, Earl. Now it's just old.
No. I don't want to hear about old or nothing like that. We're not talking about yourself.
Boring? Tired? Oh wait, those could be about me too. Okay. That
Jim
that
Carrey.
That went a little too far. I feel like we might need to put a mature rating on this podcast now.
Oh, just might. But no, yeah, I certainly wasn't trying to do like soapbox type deal. But no, I just felt like it needed to be addressed. Like, I appreciate the access that we get from our club. And Harry, to your point, there are certain areas that you can go. You're not limited to one spot.
Yeah,
they do.
He could have been up in the press box where he could have seen everything.
That press box, their press box is literally this big. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it was shoulder to shoulder in the press box. Yeah. So, and where their press box is, it looks down over the southern goal. So you're not like on the third baseline like you are, or behind home plate at Ice Stops. You're literally above that south goal, or at least whichever one it is, southeast.
Yeah, I don't know directions there because they don't have a compass on the TV.
Because it's right off it's really right off the freeway there. But yeah, you're looking down over it, and so if you're like kind of like where the curse was at on the far side, like you have to like stand up and look down and look over to see that end of the pitch if it gets down real close.
I'm so glad you shaved your nose hairs because you got really close there.
Yeah, you did. You're like on top of it.
Yeah, well, but yeah, no, it was a nice drive down. Enjoyed it. And I will admit, the match was a lot of fun to watch. Like you mentioned, we did, of course, get the 2-1 win and ended El Paso's unbeaten home streak at, I think it was like 23 matches.
23 matches.
Going all the way back to 2020, where we were the last ones to beat them at home as well. So
also by a 2-1 scoreline.
Yes, it was. But yeah, let's just get right into it. I mean, I know you guys are watching along Saturday night. What was your biggest takeaway from the first half?
Evan Newton is a really bad goalkeeper.
and yet Keith said he's a legend. He's USL royalty, apparently.
So his track record is very good. At this current moment, he is a terrible goalkeeper.
So I also have no credit for Duke Keith, whatever the fuck his name is, because he did say we brought back Justin Portillo.
Yeah, he did say that.
No,
he
didn't.
He did.
Oh,
no, he did.
He did. Yeah.
Well, then she continued it because she said that's. Oh no, okay. They messed up so many times. I got it all mixed up now.
Yeah.
Because they both were all over the map with United stuff, anyways. Which I get it. We're not your home club. We are your biggest rival, though, and we've played you guys like 1,000 times in the last 2 years. Maybe you want to, brush up on that just a hair. But also, again, It's little brother. We can't compare them to the great Tyler Ortega and Greg Hurst. We just can't do that because it's just not fair.
Chris Hurst.
Chris Hurst. What did I say?
Greg.
Close enough.
Oh, that's the Phoenix Rising player. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah, watching back the ESPN Plus broadcast, there were some issues on the broadcast. Like those halftime commercials.
See, I didn't
Espe-
watch halftime. I had to work during halftime.
Oh man,
So-
go back and watch those halftime.
Why were you
commercials.
watching halftime commercials anyways? You didn't watch it live. You could have fast forwarded.
No, today. I was just playing it and I was doing like folding clothes or whatever it was. Yeah, and so like there was one especially in the middle is like really weird. It's like this really
Was it the Yuma on a bike?
No, I didn't see that one. There was another
You
one. It
didn't
was
see
like
that one? That
no,
was
but
like the stupidest one I've.
yeah,
fucking
no, there was
saw.
one like a woman's like saying something about her husband, like he gets like a hair removal thing. It's like, oh, it's as smooth as a baby or something like that.
Guys, we just beat El Paso in El Paso and ended a streak, and we're talking about the fucking commercials. Are we
I
serious right
know
now?
it's
Come on.
weird. It
Come
was
on.
just so weird.
Back on topic.
But
Okay,
yeah,
that's
so
what you
looking
said.
at it, and I asked Zach about it after the match. Sanupe was playing really well up the right hand side, early in the first half. Got in behind a couple times, and I was like, okay, something's got to change here early on because you could just
I called, by the way,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Oh no, I'm just worried about Seleniak," and he didn't even play.
Yeah, well, again, it's predictions. Like we don't, and we predicted it 4 days ahead of time. So, but yeah, so you watch it, you can see him, and we've seen that happen in other matches too, coming up that right hand side. And now I know we had a different back three, but Zach did make some changes there, and it did seem to really cut that out.
Yeah, they were tearing us up there the first 30 minutes or so, and then Zach said he made some changes up top, which affected the way the back. I watched
No. He made some adjustments at the back.
Well, he says up top in that
yeah.
interview. So I was like, okay, what could? Anyways, he made changes and they worked. That's the bottom line. They shut down those wide players in Frenzo and Snoopy, and just kind of ended that real quickly. I also think that Portillo and Hamilton did a better job at one point of pressuring the ball when it was in the midfield, and staying in front of their guy instead of on the play that they scored on. Luna's able to get by a player and put in a beautiful ball. I mean, I can't believe that I'm talking about the El Paso goal first, but I guess it is the one that happened first in the match. So, but it was a very, very nice pass from Luna, who, according to Earl, is his least favorite Loco players now, and has passed the Yuma train there, which I still think is crazy. But he made a beautiful pass, and then Snoopy was able to find Mares, and it was a beautiful goal. I mean, it was a great play, and it probably should have been 3-0 in the first 30 minutes if Luna is 2 inches to the left on his shot that hits the post,
or if Luna was about half a star better than what he actually is.
Yeah, and if Frenzo could have found I don't know how I missed that. It was a beautiful ball again from Snope, and Frenzo just whiffed on an empty net, sure thing goal. So we got lucky there a couple times, but once those adjustments were made, that was it. El Paso didn't get another chance at all. But
so
to go back,
I actually have a recording of Zach Prince and his talk to the team. Believe it or not, this is like behind the scenes coverage. I phoned him in on the sideline, and he gave me some advice of what he told the guys.
But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution. But more than anything, I want better execution.
Exactly.
I mean, Harry over in chat. Luna is good. Give the crew credit. Give
I
the kid credit.
do.
Players on the edge.
Earl is the one that thinks he sucks. I think Luna is very good. If there's a reason
No,
he
so
got called,
here's my take on Luna.
There's a reason he got called to the U20 national team.
Here's my take on
and is
Luna.
good.
Here's my take on Luna.
Oh, God.
The 42-year-old, 18-year-old.
He's seen some shit, okay?
I know, that's the problem. When they said 5 stars, he meant like 5 stars crime boss and not 5 stars actually good.
What's your take on Luna so we can move on? Or was that your take?
That was my take, and I hate him.
Okay. Anyways, you know who is not good?
Luna.
No, the player that I mentioned earlier, Evan Newton.
Evan Newton? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That-
Trust me. If I was the coach, if I was John Hutchinson during that El Paso match, I am definitely taking out Evan Newton and benching his stupid ass.
Do you think we see Big Phil on Wednesday?
Maybe.
Please do.
I mean, Newton surrendered 5 goals in 2 matches already. So,
Well, yeah, it's not hard to surrender a goal when you're playing that fucking midfield.
Right. So Earl, I do have a question for you. Last year, you were hypercritical of Alex Tambakis and some of the decisions that he made. If you had to grade Evan Newton on his goalkeeping decisions, particularly on the Nico Brett goal, who would you take, Evan Newton or Alex Tambakis?
Look. You obviously missed our conversation, mine and Jacob's conversation. So opening night, I told Jacob that I'm past the Tambakis criticism that I've been giving him. If he held a clean sheet.
And he did.
And he did. So I'm beyond the Alex Tambakis, Alex Camp Black shit, whatever was the name I was giving him. I'm beyond that. I'm grown up, about as grown up as Luna is 45 years old. So your question is kind of irrelevant at this point.
So Harry brings up something that they were talking about on the USL show earlier too, that Newton hasn't played in a while and is in a new system with a new team. And I will give him the second goal as that problem because it is directly a result of a bad pass by Newton. And that is part of the system that they want to play. Newton needs to be able to have the ball at his feet and play that way. And he made a bad decision and then he gets beat. That's fine. The Nico Brett goal, that is like, I know nothing about goalkeeping. And I know one thing that you can't do is stand at the top of the 18-yard box and just watch. You either have to sit back and make a play, or if you're going to come out, you have to charge out. Like you have to make Nico make a decision.
Yeah.
And if Nico's going to chip, you need to be coming towards him so that you have a chance of getting a hand on the ball, not just stand there and watch the ball sail over your head and into the goal. That's not a new system, new coach, haven't played in a while type thing. That is, if I know
101.
I know Newton's background as a goalkeeper, you can't just forget how to defend a one-on-one situation. You can't do that. It's just if a goalkeeper was playing for us and that happened, I would lose my ever-loving mind. And look, I also said that I think this is that play that Nico makes. I don't think there's another United player in history that makes that play, except for maybe Kavan, that has the speed to beat out the back. Fox, I think it was. Was it Fox?
Yeah.
I feel like it was Fox. The speed to beat Fox, the ability to control it, and then to look and read the situation and put a chip in over Newton like that. There's not another player that has ever played for United that I think does that, like I said, except for Kavan. And so kudos to Nico. And I voted for it for goal of the week because of
course,
this crest that's on my chest. But
Did you vote?
I did.
But it was a terrible play by Newton, and it should have never happened. I mean, I'm not going to say that Nico wouldn't have finished anyways if Newton either stays back or actually comes charging out. My money is still on Nico finishing that somehow, but the way it was finished was just a joke. And I think that's about the time that the adjustments were made, and all of a sudden it breathed all new life into United. And from that point on, passing stats be damned, we controlled the match. They had the ball a lot and they passed it back and forth, but they did nothing with it after that. The only thing that scared me was the header in stoppage time that Tambakis saved, which that save alone, Earl, should get you off on the Tambakis bandwagon if you weren't already on it, because that was an incredible save.
Oh, I'm not denying it.
I know.
Look, I'm not denying it. So when it happened, I did jump out of my couch and clap.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it was a 60-minute domination, in my opinion. It was a close match because El Paso had that 30 minutes where we needed to make adjustments. But Zach made the proper adjustments. The players executed those adjustments. And after that, to me, it was just as dominant a performance as Vegas was after that first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so hold on. Before you continue, I do have a recording of myself praising Alex Tambakis during that block.
Okay.
Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot looking at these.
Seth is lost. Seth is still trying to gain his composure.
There's a lot looking at these first two matches, and so I've got a couple different questions I want to ask. First of all, we've seen that last minute scenario. We saw it last year. El Paso, leveled last year. I asked Zach about it after the match. I said, it's basically almost an identical situation to what we saw last year. Last minute, El Paso has an opportunity to go in and level it. What's the message to the guys in that point, and how does it feel to get that stop, to walk out with the win? And one of the things he talked about was and he said, that they talk about game-winning plays. And he talked about how in week one, Austin, even after he felt something go in his hamstring, he still continued on for 20, 25 yards to make a play. Talk about Alex making a play here on Saturday night down in El Paso. And I think that holds true. And again, small sample size, but what do you guys think is the difference between last year and this year and making those plays?
I look at the players making those plays, and most of them are players that we had last year. And so if you look at that, you say, well, it's not the players that have they've stepped up, but it's not the players that have changed. And the only thing that's changed is systems and the man at the top. And I would love for Troy to still be our coach, but what Zach has done has changed the mentality in that locker room. And I think the thing that we can attribute that to, I think, starts with that Las Vegas match and being in the 90th minute up 2-0, and Nico is still at the 6-yard box of the opposition pressing. And when you put that kind of mentality in place, I think it changes the tune of players a little bit and gets them more focused, or I don't know exactly how you want to word it, but that to me has to be what it was, or what it is. And for those of you that had a chance to read the article, I wrote 500 words on why this year feels different already. And don't worry, I put in there that it was a small sample size. I'm not going to ask you guys if you read it because I already know you didn't. So there we go. So, but in it has, two glaring stats that I was keeping track of last year. Were God damn it, Earl. kick your ass out. Were points dropped versus points fought back and gained, and it are you done, Earl? Are you fucking done?
Look, so the reason why I'm in all these like wrestling antics and whatnot is because I'm going to WrestleMania next week. So
Who
look, I'm just
cares?
yeah.
Can we wait till the end to talk about that? Because I would actually like to talk about that. I just don't appreciate being interrupted. It's not very
What?
professional, Earl. No.
What?
Anyways, Harry, let's chat since these two numbnuts over here are doing whatever they're doing.
What?
There were two things. I like how he muted himself after that one. He's like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of muting me. I'm going to unmute and then mute myself. Anyways, dropped points versus points that we like clawed back and earned. And then our record when we're scoring 2 or more goals compared to 1 or fewer goals. And it's only been 2 matches. I get that. But we've already fought back and earned 3 points from a losing position, which we had only done 3 times in our history.
Mm-hmm.
We had fought back to earn points of some kind in 11 matches only in our history. Then second of all, we held on to 2 leads. Now, the Las Vegas one wasn't really scary, but the El Paso one, we've been there how many times where we were up a goal on El Paso and we dropped points from it. That has happened 27 times in our history that we have dropped points from a winning position. Some of those are a little more heartbreaking than others, whether it's like the El Paso match last year where they score in stoppage time, in year 1, being up 2-0 against Phoenix, and then ended up walking out of there with a draw. And that hasn't even really scared me that we were going to do that so far in these first 2 matches. And so there's just something about this year that feels different. Also, when we score 2 or more goals, we average 2.19 points per game, which is great. When we score 1 or fewer goals, 0.72. And so if we can correct this whole not dropping points bullshit that we've had the last couple of years, and I think that Zach's mentality that he's instilled on this team, and I imagine that some of the newer players coming in, particularly Brett and Swahi, who come from some winning organizations in Louis City and then Birmingham and Pittsburgh, they know what it takes. So I'm not going to give all the credit to Zach. I think these new players have an effect on that as well. And the old players do, obviously, as far as executing what's going on and learning what it takes. But if our offense can be, I mean, I don't think our offense has even been that good this year. Have you?
I think we've been okay.
Right. But I don't think we're near what we're going to be later in the year. And we're scoring 2 goals a game through these first 2 games. So if we can continue to score goals and this mentality of not giving away cheap points continues, then we're going to be really freaking good. And I'm not jumping to conclusions saying we're going to be really freaking good. I'm just saying if those 2 things happen, those have been our 2 bugaboos for 3 years now. And if those are fixed, then we know the talent that's on this club. And we know a home field advantage that we have that I don't think many people were aware we had. But Earl, did you listen to the podcast last week? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Did you see that you're not on Twitter, are you either?
No, so the podcast was playing when I woke up at 4 a.m.
Okay.
Only because I was laughing in my own ear.
That is hilarious.
So it was a little scary.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't even bother listening to this past week because I scared myself.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Before Saturday, El Paso had the longest home unbeaten streak at 23 matches. Who was behind them in second and third place?
I have no idea.
So Phoenix was second. They are currently sitting on a streak of 20 matches.
So if I'm going to take a guess, it's going to be United as third.
It is United at third with 15 straight undefeated home matches. Our last loss was Loudoun.
Which, do you really consider that a loss?
Well, in the record books, it's a loss. So
Oh, okay.
that was our last loss, was Loudoun, which blew my mind and blew Seth's mind last week. We were both very shocked by this, but it's true. So now we have the second longest active home unbeaten streak. And I don't think that's going to change, spoiler alert, this weekend, or for the foreseeable future. So knock on wood, I definitely have a better feeling about this year than I did after 2 matches last year.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah. Because you know what happened last year? 2 matches in. First match was a 1-0 loss at RGV. And then the second match was a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw in El Paso, where El Paso equalized in the second half.
Yeah.
Late in the second half of that. Those 2 things did not happen. We have not been shut out, and we have not given up a lead. So
yeah, still a very long way to go. One more question that I had about this match here, and it's something that I kind of talked to Zach about as well. As we know, over the past couple of years, United was known for its possession. We typically dominated most matches in terms of possession, a lot of passes. So far this season, we are averaging, I believe it's 37% possession between the 2 matches so far. Is this something that you think is going to change as we get deeper into the season? Like, do you think we're going to play more of this, not necessarily a drop back, but give up the possession and play off the counter more?
So actually, I want to answer Harry.
yeah, let's address Harry because it was bugging me too.
Okay.
Real quick. Sorry. First, he says our streak will change on April 23rd. We'll see, Harry. Second, but has New Mexico United played anyone good? That is my question. Earl, how was your response?
So, Harry, did you not watch the Vegas Lights Phoenix match? Where Vegas Lights beat Phoenix. I'm not sure if you're new to USL, but Phoenix is like the Tom Brady New England Patriots.
Oh, that's a little more
always
credit than
freaking-
they don't have a playoff championship to hoist. So
minus
it's a
the
little high
deflated
praise.
walls and
it's
the
a little high praise.
Okay, my bad. So minus the deflate gate, minus the
Oh, no,
Asian
there's-
hotel or Asian.
They have a deflate gate of their own. It's just a karate chop handball from Solomon Asante in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but
minus the deflate gate, minus the
it's not minus any
Asian-
of that. It's minus the
Listen,
championships.
minus the Asian massage parlors and
Oh,
all that
God,
fun
no.
stuff. Either way, we played Vegas week 1 and we beat them. And then Vegas turned around and played Phoenix and beat them. So technically, we did play a good team because Vegas beat Phoenix.
By the UCF train of logic.
Hold
We
on,
beat
what?
Vegas, who beat Phoenix. UCF.
Okay,
Central Florida?
so where your logic is going, so we beat Vegas, Vegas beat Phoenix, so technically we're better than Phoenix.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where Earl's going here.
I do think that Vegas is better than most people think they are. And I think El Paso is a talented club that hasn't figured it out yet. My question for you, Harry, is who the hell have you guys beat? That's my question.
That's an
So-
excellent point there about El Paso, and we talked about it last week, is that they looked really good against Sacramento, but they couldn't put it together. They looked really good against us for a large portion of the match, but they couldn't put it together. Yes, they were a bit unlucky in
Thank you,
terms of
Thank you.
how some of those balls didn't go in the net, but we talked about all last year. You have to finish your chances. You have to take those opportunities, and El Paso hasn't done that. But I think they're. I think at this point, from watching the 2 matches, I think they're gonna be there at the end of the season competing for a playoff position. Now, I don't think they'll win the West, but I think they'll be in the playoff discussion.
Agreed. Also, Harry, so who gets the ball between San Antonio FC and us, where both teams are averaging 35 to 40% possession? It's just going to sit at the midfield line, and nobody's going to have possession of it. We're just going to stare at it
We're
for
gonna play
about
dodgeball.
20% of the time. We're just going to stare at it, and then we'll split the other 80% between.
So
the
what's
two
gonna
of us
happen
somehow.
is there's 11 men on the field. So it's gonna start with both of our strikers. One striker runs up, kicks it. Your striker then comes up and kicks it, and that's how the game will be. And the first person to score from midfield wins.
So think of a foosball table.
Exactly.
Think of a foosball table. Nonsense is done, Seth. You can reel us back
Okay.
into. You were asking a question. Was it possession based? It was.
Yeah, possession based. Yeah.
Okay. I think that you'll see possession start to favor us, more and more. I think you're looking at, what was it, 28% for the El Paso match. So that's going to skew numbers quite a bit. I think that we're not going to get outpossessed that badly, or by that much in all of our games. I think we still might be a little more than 50% on average at the end of the year. Maybe around 40, even as low as 40. But I think that kind of plays into our hand. I think that these long balls that we've been seeing more and more of have been effective and been working. And the talent that we have on the team kind of thrives in those kind of situations. And so I think we're going to see more of an attacking style, which means some dangerous passes here and there, and more of a direct way of playing, where it's not this Guzman to Ryden to Guzman to Ryden to Azira to Ryden to Austin to Guzman, turnover, give up a goal. I think it's going to be more Ryden
I think you put a little too many passes in there, because it's usually right into Guzman to Haji Berry to go score.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's going to be more, right into Portillo to Harry to Nico, and then the ball's in the back of the net type stuff, as we go on. So, Harry, have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you, Harry, as always.
Seth misses you already.
You're the best. He does. He really does. I
have a clip of him crying, so
don't. Dear Lord, please don't. Yeah, so I think that it's not going to stay that way, but I wouldn't be upset if it didn't even out completely, because I think our offense is, the whole team is kind of built to strike fast more than it was last year or the year before. And actually, no, I take that back. Year one there was some quick strike ability there, but year 2 and year 3, we definitely have quicker talent up top.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Earl, one more question, and I just kind of thought about it. Jacob and I kind of touched on it before. If you look back over years 2 and 3 of Troy Lesesne, he very rarely used fewer than 5 subs. We've seen a grand total of 4 subs between 2 games so far. What do you think Zach's philosophy on using subs is?
So I want to say that Zach wants to use subs, but with him being a new coach or new head coach, and the club being about 70% new, I want to say he wants the team to gel in actual meaningful settings and not just on the pitch or on the training fields. So I think that's why he's hesitant to use subs, because he's trying to get that collaboration going in actual meaningful game time minutes.
Yeah, I can understand that. And, we talked a little bit about how Bees was not really involved in week 1, and he was more involved in week 2. We saw he did get one shot off. He wasn't too far from goal on that, and Zach talked about it. You can see the chemistry really starting to come out between him and Nico. They're working better together, and so I can understand your point there. So I just realized there was a second sub in the match on Saturday night. Kiesewetter did come on in stoppage time, which I didn't see that at all when I was at the game. But yeah, because week 1 we had no center backs on the bench. We did have Ratty on the bench this time, and he brought in Sergio at the 72-minute mark, and then Kiesewetter in stoppage time, and so. I'm just curious to see, is this something that we're going to see throughout the season, or maybe once Open Cup matches come in, or we have 2 matches in a week here coming up pretty shortly, do we see more subs in those games?
I think when we get closer to Open Cup and actually start doing Open Cup, then yeah.
I think he's also possibly taking advantage of this early schedule that we have, because it's not as heavy as it's going to be later. It's Saturday, or was it Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday, and then not again till the 5th for the Open Cup match, and then which is a Tuesday, so a little less than a week, and then not again till the 16th. So it's basically a week, a couple days, a week, and then almost 2 weeks until the Phoenix match. So it's between that and then, honestly, Earl, I hadn't even thought of that, but that's a great point of wanting to get these, what we kind of assume is our A lineup out there, and giving them a chance to work together and work out some kinks in regular season matches, as opposed to just preseason or against the rest of the United players. So I think we eventually see more subs as we get later in the season. I think you have to, because there's going to be, there's already injuries. In case you didn't know, people, we won that match in El Paso without Ryden, Yearwood, and Suggs. We had Seymour playing as our center back, and I don't even know if he's ever played that position. He was a defensive midfielder coming into the team, and then we saw him in preseason play right back a little bit, or the right-sided center back in that back 3. So I don't even know how much he's actually worked on that position. And they came in, and there were some growing pains in the first 30 minutes, like we mentioned, but then they made adjustments and they handled business back there. And that's great for right now, but eventually, we're going to need to get people back healthy and keep them healthy and rotate, and especially if we want to make another Open Cup run like we did in 2019, and still keep our form in the league, unlike we did in 2019. So that I honestly hadn't realized that he'd used so little subs.
Yeah,
I knew in the El Paso match, I was like, where are the subs? Because Troy, 70th minute, if we have a lead, an attacking midfielder's coming out and Azira's coming in, or something along those lines. So I also think that it kind of goes to the fact that he's like, okay, guys, we're going to attack, and we're going to keep attacking, and we're not going to just settle back and park the bus, quote unquote. So you guys are in a nice little groove. We're going to keep you out there and go get the ball and go score another goal.
Yep. All right, there you have it. New Mexico United did defeat El Paso Locomotive by a final of 2-1 on Saturday night. Looking ahead on this coming Saturday at a 4:00 kickoff, which is
one more thing there.
Okay.
FEP.
There you go. Absolutely. Can't forget that. 4:00 kickoff on Saturday. United does take on Orange County.
Can we also can we add Fettel?
What is
or Fuddle? Sorry. Yeah.
What
Fuddle.
is it, Earl?
Fuck you, Diego Luna.
Oh God.
Okay, if you want to add that one in, I'll let you add that one in as well.
A new hashtag.
Yeah, there you go. Orange County SC comes in defending USL Cup champions. They are 1-1 on the season right now. They lost opening weekend to Colorado Springs by a final of 2-1, and then they beat RGV this past weekend by a final of 2-1 there. They've been going through some growing pains. They just had Ronaldo Damas transfer out to the Swedish top flight. They brought in Kubo Torres from Atlanta United. So yeah, they've had a lot of turnover. I was watching the broadcast earlier. I think they said they had like 10 new players this year. So have you guys watched them at all? What do you think we should expect out of them this weekend?
I did see the second half of the RGV match, most of the second half anyways. They won on a last second, oh shit, ping pong around, and then it finds the back of the net. Growing pains, I think, is kind of putting it a little lightly. They just haven't looked good. They haven't looked cohesive. And they lost a lot of talent. And so they are not the same club that won me money in the USL Championship last year. And I expect it to be tough. I think, most of the Western Conference matches are, I don't know that there's a gimme in any of these matches. I mean, you look at what Las Vegas just did to Phoenix.
We're talking about on the pitch or off the pitch?
On. I don't know what we would be talking about off the pitch and gimmies. But
mattresses.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I think that it'll be a tough match, but I don't think they're the caliber that they were last year, nor do I think they're the caliber of where we are at this year. Especially playing at home. I'm not nearly as worried about this match as I probably should be.
Earl, have you had a chance to look at Orange County this season? Or do you think it really matters at this point?
That was a dumb question, by the way, because we all know here that I don't watch any soccer.
Other than United.
And Nashville.
Who?
Black and yellow. I don't know. I don't understand how you're not a Dortmund fan. You're on this black and yellow theme. And you're not a Dortmund fan at all.
Excuse you, Mr. Tottenham. It's actually black and navy blue.
Who the fuck's black and navy blue?
Or yellow and navy blue. Sorry,
Nashville.
Whatever.
Nashville is navy blue, not black.
It's a dark blue. Might as well be black.
It's not black.
Okay, fine. It's not black.
So no, I have not watched Orange County. The only, and I'm kind of embarrassed to announce this, but the only USL match that I've watched that's not United is Vegas Lights.
Nothing wrong with that.
And
the Phoenix match. Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Where they had a fireworks show at the end of the match, and as soon as the ref blew the whistles,
the lights went out.
Vegas turns lights off. Like, there's still players on the pitch trying to find their bench, and all of a sudden it's just like, where the fuck am I? Where am I? So
yeah. Apparently there have been a lot of complaints about Las Vegas from the weekend. And Owain Evans, beat writer for that covers Phoenix Rising, put out a big article and has been posting it up all over the place. So if you feel like listening to someone play a very small violin, go read it. Otherwise, don't bother.
Earl, I would like to point out that you are wrong. It is not navy blue. It is acoustic blue and electric yellow are the official colors of Nashville SC. Just throwing that out
there. Okay. And on that, Earl walks away. But yeah, looking through, and we actually haven't played Orange County since 2019.
Yeah.
Because of COVID and the way the league reorganized the conferences during
So I
these
know we-
shortened seasons.
I know we drew 2-2 over there. And I think we lost here, didn't we?
I'm looking that up right now.
Or was it a draw? I know it wasn't a good result. It wasn't the
Yeah.
best result.
So yeah, 2-2 there, and then here, let me see. We did lose 2-0.
Lost 2-0. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a
to-
nice looking shirt, Earl. Just so you know.
To 2 goal scorers that are no longer with that club. So,
Well, that
Yeah.
was 3 years ago. So
yeah, exactly. It was 3 years ago. We haven't played them since. I don't know. I honestly don't know about this match on Saturday. Like you said, they don't look right. They're not the same team. They've lost some key pieces. Again, coming into the lab, I don't see them walking away with a win here. But that's just where I'm at the moment. You guys have score predictions for Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do.
Yep.
Oh, did you want them right now?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Let's get
sorry.
those. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna be serious with my predictions because Adermar told me to lower my expectations. Which, to be fair, my expectations weren't that we were gonna win 5-0. It was just a bit that I had last year. But I'm gonna get serious, and I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1. Okay. Any particular reason behind that score line?
I think that we are getting better offensively, and I think it's only a matter of time before we get 2 goals in quick succession. And so I think we get up early in the second, or we get up in the first half. We get up 2-0. We haven't. Last year in the whole existence of United, we've kind of been one to score in like the first 15 minutes, fairly consistently. So I think we do that and we score a couple early. And then it's kind of back and forth, just kind of a possession game. I'm going to say that Orange County gets one back because I do think they have some talent on offense and have the ability to score. And I don't know what our backline situation is going to be. I'm hoping that Ryden and Suggs are back, but we're not privy to that information at this point in time.
I can't say
So-
Suggs did travel to El Paso.
Did he?
Yeah, he did travel. Ran into him in the tunnels after the match. Seemed to be walking around okay. Don't know what the issue was. We do know that it did happen kind of later in the week after David had all of his match notes and everything ready to send out. So
I would think that of the two, Suggs is probably the most likely to not play Saturday, knowing nothing about the injury, just looking at the two individuals in question. And Suggs is up there in minutes played and has a lot of miles on his legs, and whereas Ryden is a much younger player, kind of a stalwart back there. I think for the first 2 years he was with us, he didn't miss a single minute. I could be wrong about last year. I feel like there might have been a time last year when he missed a match, but I know in year one he did not. In year one with us, which would have been 2020, he did not miss a single minute in those 15
he
matches.
did miss time last year because of his
Okay.
back issue.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, he's been a pretty big workhorse for us. So I think if either of them, if I had to pick one of those to be back, it's going to be Ryden. But still, with questions at the back line, we know Austin's not going to be there more than likely unless a miracle happened in the last week. And so I'll give them a goal because of our back line and their offensive firepower that they have. And then I think we're bound to get a goal if we keep pushing like we did against Las Vegas. It's gonna pay off at some point. A goalie is gonna make a Evan Newton-like pass, something along those lines, where we get a cheap, easy goal to kind of put it away after the 80th minute. Is how I picture it going. And so that's what I'm going to go with is 3-1.
So Josh Suggs is only 2 years older than Cameron Ryden, and
Yeah,
they're
but
both
he's got-
younger than us.
I think he's got a lot more minutes on his legs.
Probably. I think. Yeah. I
And-
don't know what I don't know what Kalen's minutes are at, but
And not only that, but Kalen's position, he doesn't make a whole lot of runs.
yeah.
Whereas Suggs, especially the last year or so, 2 years almost, I think he's been playing more of a winger or midfielder, and has been running back and forth a lot. So his legs have a few more miles on them than Kalen does.
Yeah. Earl, what's your prediction for Saturday?
So I agree with Jacob, and I do think we give up a goal. But there's this lingering score that you just announced, where 2-1 was week 1, 2-1 was week 2, so 2-1 will be week 3.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't 2-1 in week 1, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, not for us. For Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So pay attention.
So I'm assuming you're saying 2-1 us against Orange County, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 2-1, 3-1. I look at this and no, Orange County is not the same. We are doing better. We still have a lot of work to do. We do have some injuries. And I'm going to ask you guys here in just a minute about Sergio Rivas. Because I get an interesting question for you guys on that. But I think we have more than enough up top to handle Orange County. So I'm going to say 2-0 again. I don't trust
10-0.
2-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't trust Orange County's forwards or their midfields to do anything because I think we're much improved. Even if we have a modified back line on Saturday, I think we're better. So that's where I'm at with that. So in terms of, like I said, I did have one more question for you guys. Sergio Rivas. So we know Sergio missed week 1 with an injury. He did put out and I mentioned it to David. He put out a TikTok, showed what happened with his injury. And I sent you guys a link to another TikTok the other day. Apparently there was some concern about Sergio's injury, that it was significantly more serious than what it turned out to be. Do you think that the club needs to kind of sit down and talk to guys like Sergio and be like, hey, look, you gotta don't screw yourself over? Or do you think that they trust him to not make poor decisions? Or at least take better care of himself, I should say.
So here's the thing about that. Sergio was in the street kicking a soccer ball with who I'm assuming is his family.
Yeah, it was.
So is Sergio not allowed to hang out with family anymore? So is Sergio not allowed to have Thanksgiving dinner with his family anymore? Because that's not healthy.
Okay.
Is Sergio...
Let's fucking calm down, Earl. I'm on your side here, Earl, but let's not go too far.
That's my take. I mean, Sergio's and every player on any team is going to go out on the street and kick a ball with their family. Did an accident happen? Yeah, of course. Do I think Sergio is not taking care of himself? Depends on how many paletas he has a day or a week. That's the only questionable part. But do I think him tripping on a soccer ball and tweaking his knee was him not taking care of himself? No. I think he just runs the course and the club continues what they're doing and not give it any light to disgruntle Sergio to where then makes animosity in the locker room.
I assume that United players, USL players in general, have some language in their contracts that says, hey, during the season, you might not want to snowboard or ski or pull a Ben Roethlisberger and ride a motorcycle without a helmet.
Or ride dirt bikes through Albuquerque.
I don't know who that was.
Sergio.
During
What
the
is
season?
your hate on Sergio?
I'm not hating on Sergio. I'm just,
Was this during the season?
I assume so because there were videos posted just the other day.
Yeah, that might be.
I mean, Kellen Winslow got you're going along the same lines.
There are things that you should not do, specifically in season as a professional athlete when you make money using your body, not in that way.
Deshaun Watson.
No. Damn it, Earl. But kicking the soccer ball in the street is not one of those things. I mean, we see every match Suggs kick the ball with his kid. Literally after every match that he's a part of, we see that. They're not going to stop that. If Sergio is doing stuff other than kicking the ball in the street that might, lead to a injury that is not great, yes, they are within their right, I think, to go to him and be like, hey, skateboarding without a helmet during the season, hey, let's knock that off. Riding a dirt bike through Albuquerque, let's knock that off. You can do it in the off season, but don't do it now. But they're not going to go so far to stop them from playing with nieces and nephews or kids or something like that. And shit happens. I mean, as a parent, I know, and Seth, that sometimes mistakes happen. Wrong steps happen. An ankle gets twisted. Fall on a fence. Don't ask. Shit can go wrong. So that's a
Have
risk.
You been watching me this past week?
No, I was talking about myself, but yeah. So unless there are like legit extreme things going on, they're not going to go to anybody and be like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that like he was out there, with the intent to get hurt or anything like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him kicking the ball around with I think it was his cousin or his little brother, something like, and I get that was an accident, but knowing what we do about sports and knowing some of the things that guys have done away from the field that have cost them time and money. I just kind of wonder, if there was that possibility, because the link that I sent you guys, the original prognosis was that it was a significant injury, or there was a potential for significant injury based off the accident. Again, I know it was an accident, but you look at it and and when Jacob, when you and I were out at Mesa del Sol, the reaction was like, did he really post that? Like, it's like, yeah, he did. So I don't know. So, and I'm not saying that the club's going to step in and say, no, you can't kick the ball with your family. That's not what I'm after here. It's, maybe he needs to be a little bit more, maybe he needs to be a little more careful about what he posts, or a little more careful, like he's during the season, like with some of the activities that he's doing, just to make sure that he's not endangering himself,
Well, okay, so I'm of this mind about it. Kind of similar to I don't like making businesses cater to like the bakery several years ago that didn't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding. Let them not bake a cake for a gay wedding, so that way everybody knows where they stand, and everybody can take their business elsewhere. Don't make businesses do something that they don't want to do if it's going to shed bad light on them. Just let them shed bad light on themselves, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Wait,
So,
I didn't hear about that bakery.
Oh, it was years ago, several years ago. A couple went in there, wanted a wedding cake, and the bakery was like, no, we're not going to do a wedding cake for a gay couple because we stand for this and that and the other, blah, 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 nonsense. And then that led to basically laws in effect that says you cannot discriminate against your customers for racial or sexuality or this and the other. Like, if a business owner,
here's my take on that whole wedding cake thing. And I know we're not talking about wedding cakes and gay rights and whatnot, but my take is this.
What?
Yeah, no, it was a big deal.
Idiot.
Yeah, Josh, how you doing?
What's up, Josh? Yeah, so sued for a lot of money too, which I hate suing. The whole practice of suing for shit like that annoys me. But
I hate sewing, but
if shut up, Earl. But if a company doesn't want to do that, then let them be outed for being that kind of person, and then don't go to them. So similar here. I'm not going to get after Sergio for posting about this stuff. If Sergio wants to post him doing dumb stuff, then that just lets the club go, hey, you're doing some dumb stuff, knock it off. Whereas if he's not posting, he's not ratting himself out, the club might not know that he's doing dumb stuff. So let him post whatever he wants to post. And if he does dumb things, then the people can be like, why are you doing this during the season? That's dumb. Stop doing it. Shit like that. So I hope they don't censor what he can post. Another reason why I don't want that is because the USL censors the shit out of everything. We don't know anything about anything when it comes to the USL and behind the scenes, and I hate that. So stop doing it, USL. Stop it.
I will admit that there are some things that we, with our context that we have now, we do get a little bit more, information, which I think is great. We know I found out some things over the weekend that I can't say on air, but I know one of them for sure will make Joshua Carrillo very happy. And that's not giving anything away. It's something that the club is going.
is it about
it
about daylight savings time?
Yes, it's exactly about daylight savings time. That's exactly it.
Good. Okay, good.
The club is getting rid of daylight savings time.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it.
That's why they're my favorite.
But yeah, no, it's Josh, I can't tell you, man. I can't. It's something that you of all people would be like super hyped about once it gets announced. So
He signed his life to the devil, swore secrecy.
No,
trust me, I don't even know, so it's all right, Josh. Don't feel bad.
I put it in the chat the other day.
He doesn't know. Earl doesn't read the chat.
No,
I don't even read. To be honest, I don't even read.
Yeah. But no, like we don't want to take, we generally try not to take advantage of our connections, and we don't put things out there until we're given the go ahead for it. And we got lucky that a couple weeks ago we were able to announce the kit sponsors live on air, which was great. Dave was in the chat. And speaking of which, David, I don't know if you're listening or hanging out somewhere, but we want to get you on the show either next week or the week after. We'll talk some Open Cup.
We have some guests coming.
Yes, we do. We have guests coming. We had a guest lined up for tonight. Audrey Cortina was going to join us, but unfortunately she was sick tonight. So Audrey, feel better.
So she does want to come on next week though, if we are available. But I know that kind of corresponds with Open Cup, so we might have to do David next week, and then maybe Adri can be our third on Open Cup night.
Yeah. Well, unless if she's not out at the stadium, of course.
Fair.
Yeah.
I might even be there. So who knows what's going to happen that week? But
yeah, I probably won't be here that week anyway, or that day anyways, because I'll be driving back from the greatest show of all time, the granddaddy of
the greatest showman
on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm driving back on Tuesday night from the granddaddy of them all.
Okay, so breaking news, people, we're not going to have a podcast on April 5th.
Yeah, breaking news. Earl will still be hungover from WrestleMania.
If we do, it'll just be me, and nobody wants that. So
yeah, hey, well, you and your forehead.
You could do a watch along.
I could, and then we could do a podcast later that week. But anyways, we'll figure out this smash.
We'll figure all that out.
Whatever.
I do have one more note before we get out of here. This last thing I have anyway. Congratulations to the New Mexico Runners, finished their season with back-to-back wins.
Yeah, good job, Runners.
Yeah, they picked up a season-ending win over the Turlock Cal Express by a final of 12-5.
I'm sorry, was that English? What the fuck did you say?
Turlock Cal Express from Turlock, California.
Okay.
Yeah. 12-5.
Never heard of her.
There. Rashad Ahmadi picked up 5 goals and assists. So great night for Rashad.
Yeah, that's a game and a half right there.
Yeah, well, the match before up in Colorado was 16-10. So
we're just talking about the names that you just pronounced.
What'd you call me?
Yeah. But anyway, great game for the Runners. Great way to close out the season. They do finish outside of the playoffs, as we talked about a few weeks ago. But yeah, guys, go follow the Runners on social media. Facebook, Twitter. I don't know if they're on Instagram. I assume they are. And yeah, get ready for next season. Tekken. There you go.
Tech 9?
Tech 9, yeah. But that's all I have for this.
Seth has no idea who Tech 9 is.
I know who Tech 9 is.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm old enough. I know who Tech 9 is.
Yeah, I knew you were old enough. I just thought you were a little too white.
No, I know who he is. I may not listen to him, but I do know who he is.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that's all that I had. Did you guys have anything for this week?
Earl?
No, we could wait till next week.
Okay, good job, bro. No, not really. Standing wise, in case you're wondering, United is one of 4 teams in the Western Conference that has won both their opening games. One of 7 teams overall. There are also 7 teams that have yet to win a game, including
Diego Luna,
El Paso. And then there's a bunch of teams in it. There's only been 1 draw in the USL through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
and there's also only one man-child.
Diego Luna.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's all I got. Just a little standings update. Anything else? No? Going once? Going twice? Sold. Okay. So, as Seth said earlier, Saturday, a 4:00 kickoff, kind of changing things up there. Earl, are you going to be there? For those of you listening only, he is shaking his head no.
Yeah, it's a big old negatory.
Seth will be there. I will be there with my wife in the stands.
See, I would be there, but it's the last weekend before I go out of town for half a week. And my wife's not going with me to Dallas, so gotta spend time with my wife before that.
So why don't you bring your wife to the game?
Because that's not fun. She doesn't like sports.
She was at a game year 1, wasn't she? Because I met her at a game year 1.
No.
I met her at a game year 1.
You met her at a tailgate party.
Ah, fair. Okay. Anyways.
Because that's when Derailed Motors was giving out the cool turquoise shirt.
Ah, gotcha. So.
That's when you met Milo.
I did. Milo's the best. I wish he was on the pod instead of Earl sometimes.
So do I. Because I'm
So-
asleep.
So if you see me out in the stands, come say hi. Seth will be up in his hoity-toity press box. Not a man of the people. He's just
Yeah, we're peasants to him.
But at
Yeah,
least I'll have
yes.
access to the warning track
And you'll have food.
and
Yeah,
food.
and
Yes.
I'm going to take my credentials and my camera, so I might sneak onto the field and get a few pictures here and there. But and I might go to the press conference if I can swing it, but I don't know. We'll see. But I will be walking around. I'll be sitting in the berm or maybe 122. I'm not 100% sure yet. So come say hi, and we will be back next Tuesday at 9:00 to recap that match and to preview the
WrestleMania.
Yeah, sure. And preview the Oakland match, which is next Wednesday on the 30th. So 2 home games in quick succession here. Seth, are you going to the Wednesday match?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to need you to do me a favor. And it is get one of these posters
Yeah, I need that too.
that
One
they're
of-
doing.
One of these cool things.
Have you not heard about the posters? You've heard about
No.
the posters?
They're
They're having a
$5.05.
They're having a different poster every home match, different
Oh,
design
okay.
poster every home match that you can buy at the little stands there. And they're only making 505 of them per match. So they're limited edition, limited run. There will be 17 different ones this year for all the home matches for the regular season, anyways. Ooh. Could not mute my mic fast enough. Sorry. So I will get one Saturday, but I will not be at the Wednesday match. So I'm gonna need some help there so I can get all 17 of them.
Can you
And
get me
then-
one on Saturday there, Sire?
I can because you bought me this one, buddy. Because you're a good
Gotcha.
dude. You're a good man. I don't care what your wife says about you.
I mean, she doesn't even talk to me, so it's all right. Just kidding. God knows. Wife, I love you still.
Yeah, she's listening. She's our one listener right now.
She probably is. My luck.
So again, next week, recap the Orange County game, preview the Oakland Roots match. Love looking at the table and seeing us undefeated at the top and El Paso winless at the bottom. It's good fun for me, and we appreciate everybody. Josh, Harry, I did a terrible job at not putting it on social media, so I blame myself for why live listeners are not here. But I will do better next week, and we will catch you next week again at 9:00. And until then, somos lindos.